Thank you for joining us here this morning. Lots that's lined up, but let's begin the broadcast with big news that we're tracking as far as Donald Trump's big claim is concerned. Biden administration's 21 million USAID to India. What he stated is trying to get somebody else elected. And why do we need to spend $21 million on voter turnout in India? Listen to what he said, then I cut across to Shinjoy. All right, let me go to Shinjoy Chaudhary, Times Network consultant first. Shinjoy, very good morning. Thank you for joining us. Given the aspect as to what has been alleged here, it has definitely raised several eyebrows. How do you look at this accusation?
Well, first of all, this $21 million, which is a very small sum if you consider America's GDP to be 25 trillion, it was sent to India for the elections. The first question President Trump raised was, why send it to India? Why can't we use it for our elections? Perhaps quite rightly. Secondly, importantly, he now says this was an attempt to ensure the victory of someone else. Now, he hasn't mentioned anyone, but you can imagine it was probably, he is suggesting the money went to the opposition. Now, whether it's correct or not, we do not know. Whether Trump actually means is not clear. But the surmise is that they wanted someone else to win, is a clear suggestion that perhaps the Biden administration wanted more votes for the opposition, is the surmise you can make. Now, how correct that was, because Trump himself is merely sort of analyzing the whole thing. The facts are not there. But nevertheless, it's a very strong allegation, and we'll have to see how the opposition in India reacts to it.
Absolutely, Shinjoy. I appreciate you putting that into context for us. But like you said, in the larger scheme of things, it will be interesting to see what the opposition also makes of this big claim on Biden administration's intent that has been alleged by Trump, because this is at a point of time when the Biden rule was present in the United States. Having said that, let's listen to what Trump said.
$21 million for voter turnout in India. What do we need to spend $21 million for voter turnout in India? Wow, $21 million. I guess they were trying to get somebody else elected. Well, we ought to tell the Indian government, because when we hear that Russia spent about $2 in our country, it was a big deal, right? They took some internet ads for $2,000. This is a total breakthrough. $21 million for India elections.
Shinjoy, coming back to you, given the aspect of how we heard that statement as well, one aspect of this is when this entire row also came to the forefront, there were many reactions. And to put into context, like how you said, it will be interesting to see how the opposition reacts. And when that did happen, in some sort of cases, you were seeing how it was being played down.
Well, first of all, even $21 million, keeping in mind that there were 800 million voters in India, is not very much, right? But even then, even $1 is not something you want from another country to fight an election, whoever it was. Now, Donald Trump is saying that they, in this case, you imagine, is President Biden's government, wanted to elect somebody else. Now, can we interpret somebody else as the opposition? So that is really the question. The president speaks slightly differently from other politicians, as we all know. But in this case, he's saying somebody else. Now, does somebody else mean the opposition? If it does, if that's what President Trump is saying, then surely, as I said, the opposition should also make it very clear what the situation on the ground actually was. So that's very important to know. Besides, there's actually no reason
Absolutely.
why anyone should require any money in this country to fight the election. The election commission, of course, the structuring of the election is fine with the election commission. It has enough resources. The parties too have enough resources. So why get $21 million from the American government is also a question.
Absolutely, Chandra. I appreciate you putting that into perspective for us. And of course, in the context of all those questions that loom large over what has not just been alleged here, but that particular amount as well. But having said that, we leave it at that for the moment.